In this video, I will be demonstrating the steps to complete the Week 3, Assignment 3, Editing Forms. In this assignment, you will be changing the arrangement of label and text box controls on the form. Step 1 asks you to download and open the Garden Company 03 Assign 3 database file. You can see I've already done that. Please note that this file is different than the one you used in Assignment 2. Be sure to use this file, not a file used earlier when you're completing this assignment. Step 2 asks you to click Enable Content if it shows on the security warning bar. Step 3 asks you to save the database with your name at the end of the file name. So I'm going to add name, first and last name. That would be your first and last name, and then click Save. If the Enable Content comes up again, you just click Enable and it'll go away. Step 4 asks you to complete steps 1 through 19 in the textbook, beginning on page 94. Step 1 asks you to right-click on the customer's form and open it in the Layout view. Step 2 asks you to click on the Customer ID label, not the text box, but the label. And on the Arrange tab in the Rows and Columns group, click the Select Column button. So we're going to click up here on the Arrange, and then in the Rows and Columns, we're going to select Column. Step 3 asks you, with all of these labels selected, on the Format page of the property sheet, set the alignment of the text to right. So remember, you can get on the Design tab and click on the property sheet, and then you want to set the alignment to right. Step 4 asks you to point to the right border of the Customer ID label, and when it changes to a two-headed arrow, to drag it to the left until the Customer ID just fits in the box. So I think that's just about right. Step 5 in the property sheet asks you to adjust the width property to 0.8 and press Enter. So on the width, you're going to change this to 0.8 and press Enter. Step 6 asks you to select the Customer ID box, not its label. So that's over here. And in the properties, change the width to 1.5. So over here, we're going to erase what's there and type in 1.5 and press Enter. You can see how much smaller all the fields just became in that column. Step 7 asks you to select all using that upper left corner of the dotted border. So right up here in this left corner around this dotted border, you're going to select all. And then in the property sheet, you're going to change the height to 0.25. So you click here for the height and type 0.25 and press Enter. And then step 8 asks you to click the Control Margins button on the Arrange Contextual tab in the Position group. So you're going to click on the Arrange tab, and then in the Position, you're going to click on Control Margins, and they ask you to select Narrow. Step 9 asks you to click on the Phone label. So you click down here on Phone, and then from the Arrange tab, under Rows and Columns, you'll click Select Row. And step 10 then asks you to put your mouse anywhere within that selection, and you'll want to click, hold, and drag until the phone is underneath last name. You'll see that little line goes up the screen, and when you have it under last name, you let go, and then you've moved the phone under last name. Step 11 asks you to point to the selected label and text box and try to drag it to the right of last name, and when you do that, you'll find that you can't move that selection. So step 12 asks you to click in the upper left corner the select all, so remember that's right up here, and then to right click and select layout, and from layout to remove layout. And you'll notice now that that dotted border has disappeared. Step 13 asks you to click the last name label and then to press the delete key on your keyboard. Step 14 asks you to click the last name text box and point to the A in Ackerman, and when it's shaped like a four-headed arrow, to drag it up to the right until it sits slightly to the right of the first name text box. So I'm going to drag it up here. I'm going to each time just click, hold, and drag till I get it right about the right location. Okay. Step 15 asks you to click in the property sheet and adjust the left property to 2.7. So you click here and you'll click 2.7 and enter. Now you want to hold down the Shift key in step 16 and select the two adjacent controls. So you're going to hold down your Shift key and select the first name and the first name label. And then in the properties over here for the top, you're going to set the property to 0.6 and press enter. In step 17, it asks you to click on the first name label and change the caption to name. So with it selected on this side on the data sheet, we want to erase first so that it just says name. Now, we're going to rearrange in step 18 the remaining controls in sort of logical groupings and then close the property sheet. So what you want to do is look at the picture in the textbook, and you want to arrange your form so that it looks similar to the form there. So you can see that they have the city, and then next to the city they have the state. We'll move it over just a little bit. And then the zip code. Maybe move it over just a little. There's no perfect way for this. They give you this as a guideline. And notice here they change the caption on city to city, state, zip with a slash in between. So in the caption, and then just press enter. So you might have to make that field just a little bit bigger to fit all three words. We could certainly make the Washington field a little smaller, the state, and then move the zip code over. Like I say, there's no one perfect way. They give you this as a guideline, whatever you think are the logical ways to align the form, and I'll size that over again. Okay, and then we'll delete the postal code label. Click once and delete. And then for the region, we'll change the caption to say country. Okay, and in step 19, it asks you to close the customer form and to save the changes to its layout. So I'm going to close the property sheet and then close the form. And yes, you want to save the changes. Now we'll switch back to the classroom, and step 5 asks you to close the database file, and if you're prompted to save your changes, and then submit your file to the Week 3 Assignment 3 Dropbox.